And we start. Hello. Hello, Matteo.
How you
Hello,
doing?
guys. How are you? Hello, guys from Friuli. Hello, Poland. And we start the uniqueness of Friuli with Matteo Bellotto from Friuli, Colli Orientali, and some winemakers behind you.
Many of them, yes.
Many of them, yeah. So, Matteo, the floor is yours, and we start. Right? I'm turning off.
So thank you very much. Thank you, Piotr. Thank you for this occasion. I can just tell you one thing, and all the people, the good people just being here. I'm just guarantee to you that you're gonna have the best tasting that you had in your entire life. Not just because of the wines, but because you're going to discover a place right now that has got a lot of uniqueness that we can share and we can see due to the things that not just the wine can say, but even the people can do more. For instance, I'm going to show you where we are. In particular, we are in the same room with all the wineries and the people that used to make the wines that you're going to taste. But in fact, we're in a place in the northeast of Italy. So it's way closer where you can imagine, and you can join us in a few hours by car in order to see how this kind of wines can not just be good, but can become unique due to some data that I'm going to share with you. First thing first, we are in a place which is the northeastern part of Italy. It is Friuli Venezia Giulia. In fact, in Friuli, we speak 4 languages. The last language that we speak is Italian. This is by a fact, because I just started to speak Italian in schools. We speak Friulano, we speak Slovenian, we speak German, but it's the first language that is the most spoken language in this land, and is silence. So forget about all the stereotypes that you think about Italians and think about silence. These wines can speak the silence. And if someone can speak the silence, can say more. So the first thing is to understand then whenever you go and whatever you hear about these wines, you can have this kind of silence that is going to increase all the flavors and all the stuff that goes beyond all your dreams that you may have in a wine, and goes beyond on all the matches that you may have in all the food that you can match, of course. First of all, I'm going to share my screen right now and show you where we are. And these are Colli Italia Friuli. Of course, whenever I've been asked about a presentation, just like the PDF presentation, I have none, because I'd like live things. This is a live thing where we are. This is a QGs about we created about our land. The Friuli Colli Orientali is about 2,000 hectares vined. So, and we have 23 different varieties planted. We are the only DSC close to the border, because as you can see, there's Slovenia, that's Italy, and then we have all the so-called under zones or upper zones. We're gonna taste at least Ramandolo, and we're gonna talk about this. Then we have the Savorniano, we have the Refosco di Fede, we have the Cialla, Schioppettino di Prepoto that we're gonna taste. We have Rosazzo, but in fact, we have all these different zones that can tell something. In order to tell something about these zones, we needed to provide a lot of data and a lot of something that lets you understand the uniqueness. Now, my example about what we do in here, about what we create, is the example that we go close to the, let's say, the accents, right? For every language we speak, of course, when we speak our native language, we all have accents, don't we? And what does an accent do? An easy thing. The accent does tell the people when we talk to where we come from. And when we speak our native language, we're way more closer to the accents than we understand the precise place where we come from. We are in the northeast part of Italy, and in the mountains up over here on the closer border. This is the very first place and the very rainiest place in Italy. It's 3,800 millimeters on average every year, which means 4 meter water. I know when you think about Italy is the place of the sun, but you can tell that when you come in Friuli, you know what the voice of the rain, and we know it very well. So how is it possible that you can have all this viticulture that goes beyond the Roman Empire since 2000 years till today with this amount of rainfalls? Two things. The first is about the soil. The soil is based on something that is and was an enormous coral reef that you can easily see close to the geological part of our history. It's something that's been created 70 million years ago and is being clatched and formed due to the warming and due to the icing part that has been held since 25,000 years ago, which means that you got beyond this coral reef some amounts of something that becomes the vineyard, and it's incredible to see how the rocks are formed. I hope that you see the picture because I can't see you. Right now I'm talking blind just like you're blind tasting, right? And whatever it comes,
We
you can
see it.
see.
We see it. It's fine.
Oh, thank you,
It's
Piotr.
fine.
So when you see, for example, this kind of hillside that I'm showing you is made of limestone, clay, and marl. And all the vineyards can go beyond all of this. And of course, all the water and the rainfalls can create their own sharp place in order to let the roots go down, down, and down. The more down you go with the roots, the higher you get with all the leaves. And then you can find the exact balance. Balance is the key. Balance is the key in when you taste the wine and when you have to grow up a vineyard, of course. And this is just the first example. But the second example that I'm going to show you is this. This is the soil that you obviously seen when you come to this hillside. And this soil comes from an old legend that comes up to tell us what the second thing that helps us to understand this land. We told about the soil and the coral reef that's being created. All of this, layers that you may see is about this coral reef, right? So you can easily understand how the roots goes down. But then we need the wind. Of course, the wind is an issue. And we know many winds that comes from the names of the winds that comes from the Roman Empire. In fact, we have winds coming from the north that impact with the mountains and coming from the south, close to the seaside, that creates some kind of perfect conditions for some kind of wine grapes. But imagine this. You can see now these stones, and you have to think about one of the winds that you may have listened to many times related to the city of Trieste in our same region, right? Well, there is a legend close to this because Bora, which is the wind that comes from north to south, was the daughter of the god of the winds who was called Aeolo in the Greek mythology. And she was lucky to travel in this part of the world. Eventually, she fell in love with a guy who was one of the 50 guys that just came out with the enormous journey to bring up the golden veil with the Jasone. So this is Greek mythology. She sees the guy and she falls in love. For 7 weeks and 7 nights, they loved each other till the father comes and he didn't like the scene. As soon as it happened, this was what the father did. He killed the guy. And Bora started to cry. And as she was God, every tear became a stone because of the sword that she had. So, what are you facing now? These are the tears of Bora that created our hillside area. And then someone had to intervene, and it was Mother Nature. So she put some blood into these stones, and you have some plants with red leaf, just like sumaco or other plants. And then again, the father of the seaside had to intervene and create a new town that was called Tergeste, that nowadays is Trieste. And this is why Bora blows so fast in Trieste, because she's going to embrace her lover. Apart from the mythology, we know that thing. We know that we are in a place where Bora blows. So you got the earth that goes down with the water, and in the same time, you have the possibility to have the wind that makes up together. But again, wait a second. I told you that we would like to tell you the accents of the land. So I can tell that all the people and all these winemakers can make the wine due to their own wine grapes. And that's fair. But again, going from north to south of this appellation, we have many different accents because they all have a different soil, a different wind, a different rainfall, and a different idea in how to make these wine grapes to be, you know, having a voice. So we did something that nobody did in Italy at the moment. We just mapped 5,779 different vineyards for every single winery, for every single vintage, for every single thing that we did in the last 25 years. An amount of data there is more than something that you can imagine. And of course, we have a place in our website with the AI intelligence, and I'm going to share it in the chat afterwards, that you can easily see a chatbot that we trained with all the information. So from now on, you go to our website, you find out our chat box with the AI, and you can ask anything that happened in the last 25 years, at least, about the data that we have. But let's go further. For example, let's see the shape. You can see these colors, right? And I know that you can see this color that goes from purple to blue to green and something like this. These are the concentrations that we measured due to our work about the Tokai Friulano in 2021, just like I'm showing you now, and we did it for every vintage, about the bricks, so the concentration of sugars. So you can see how the sugars in some places, in the purple places, can reach easily 25 to 26 bricks, which means 14 to 14.5 alcohol. And then again, in the greener part, we're around 20 to 21. And then we added the acidity and the pH. So you can see how these three images can show you the balances that you can find in the different places. And this changes in every vintage, and this changes in every vineyard, and this changes for every winery. So when we are going to have the taste right now of the wines, we got to know there is something about in the back that we already know about the datas. So it's not just about a tasting, it's about the trip from north to south, where we know where the limestone stays, so we know that acidity is higher, when we know that the glauconites or dolomites or something that is related to the single place are situated. And for every single of these guys here in the back that you're going to taste, we know one thing. They're not challenging them one to the other, but they're all unique because we know the datas and we know the thing, and we know that you may like one to the other, but we know how to disclaim how they unique they are. But then again, we have something more. Let's say that we just have the expositions north, south, west, east of every single vineyard of the entire appellation. So, in order of knowing this, we can know, for example, how the aromas are developed because of the exposition of the vineyard from south to east to north and whatever. And then we know again because of the age of the vineyards. One important thing to know about sustainability. Everybody talks about sustainability, but we got just one thing to say. The average of the life of a vineyard in Italy is from 16 to 18 years old. In Friuli Colli Orientali that you're watching now, the 68% of the vineyards got more than 50 years in the rainiest place of Italy. So about sustainability is not something that we say, but it's something that the land itself is talking to us. Of course, we are the curves of the levels, and we know how all the ropes and all the steps have been made in order to have a new or an ancient kind of soil in order to understand this. And then dependencies, because as soon as you see dependency in the red part, you know that these guys cannot go into with the tractor. So when these guys used to tell you the price, of course, it's not just about the quality, but it's about even the job that they need to do. None of them, or mostly of them, can you just go into by their own food with no tractor. That should have a price. That should have a value in order to have this kind of wines. And of course, you can see all these things. So we can provide all these data. We can provide all these kind of beautiful things to share. And we are in a place that, sometimes people does not understand. I'm going to show you this picture. So if you can see this picture, we have these bushes in the middle of the pictures, right? This is the city of Prepoto on my right, so I think on your left, or probably whatever, in here. And this is Colli. But this has been the border of Italy and Austro-Hungarian Empire for 457 years. We've been facing these changes and this border for so many other people that just faced before. So we can understand how this development can be something that relate us with the same identities and the different identities that we face. With
You don't, sorry, you don't share the screen. We can't see the picture. We see you and me.
Okay, let me share it
Yeah.
again. Because I have something. Din casino là. Sì, ma è colpa sua.
Anyway, we have also two questions in the chat.
Okay, now you're back because I just lost you. That was the.
Okay. So no, well,
What are the questions?
the questions are in the chat. You can see the chat.
Oh, yes, I can.
Yeah.
So I see Warsaw 600 millimeters. That's good.
Yeah, that's the comment, but
The
questions are
climate
below.
change affects amount of rainfall and temperature affecting vineyards. Yes, it's affecting, and what we're facing right now, it's something that is related with, for example, let's say some different varieties. The ancient varieties that we have, just like Friulano and let's say Refosco or whatever, they are adapting way more better in these changes. In the last 25 years, the harvest has been anticipated for about 22 days. So this is a big issue and a big change. And nowadays we're facing a great ripening on the red wines. So red wines are increasingly ripening, and the white wines are finding out in the old vintage, in the old vineyards, the right balance that they just can have closing to the future they're just facing in this thing. So, and then the second question was about we'll be discussing varieties. Could you please tell us about the Tocai Friulano? Yes, I will. And we will have two beautiful Tocai Friulano to taste. Tocai Friulano is the great, if not the greatest variety that we are facing and we are having right now, because of the kind of the balances that every year can have, even if we can face different kind of vintages with rainfalls apart in August and having up even the possibility to be red. When I was talking about the accents before, the issue is exactly perfect to talk about the Friulano. So Friulano is the one who can tell, who can speak the real language of this vineyard, of this place, and our land. And every year, even in the best and or in the worst year, can be always in average within in production and within even in something that you can imagine about the things that it changes. So I know that right now I have to go through, even if I'm a little bit blind in this moment, because I can see all the things blinding. Mi hanno detto di andare avanti, vado avanti. And waiting for you to connect back, I just go over, because I know there is all registered, with the first wine, of course, so we can be right in time to let time to all the winery to speak. The first wine that we are drinking is this Pinot Grigio. Ronco dei Pini is the winery. 2024 is the vintage that you are tasting right now. So I just put it in here. Ronco dei Pini is a winery located in Prepotto. So we are in the eastern part where the Schioppettino even is located. They do even a beautiful Schioppettino di Prepotto. This winery is around 100,000 bottles made per year, run from the Novello brothers. They are in a beautiful place. These plants are around 25 to 30 years, so it's a good, part of the winery and the good part of the all the plants that are just set down there. Of course, Pinot Grigio, it's an enormous variety in Friuli, an enormous variety all around there. This variety is one of the most important planted in here about numbers. I used to make an example about the varieties and about the numbers that we face. The first is that Pinot Grigio, just like pop music, you can have the Beatles and you can have Shakira with Waka Waka, okay, which is good. I don't judge, but we have Beatles. We have Beatles because of the hillside area and because of this variety is being planted here since 170 years. And already knows how to manage and how to be caught this part of the hillside area and to the part that has to be in balance with the roots, with the leaves, and with the right ripening that you may imagine with this. Ronco dei Pini, it's a beautiful example of the freshness of Pinot Grigio. This is in white version, because nowadays you may face some Ramato versions. In the first time, you may have just this flower part and all the part that goes beyond even the fruit part, the peach that comes out, and it's very blasting because it's very, exactly, it's very nicely balanced. The best food pairing for this, oh wow, I used to have a lot of images about the best food pairing, and all these images are close to the ones that are the food from my region. But in my opinion, the good thing of this Pinot Grigio is that you can pair it, for example, with something that goes with yes, we're gonna have the Ramato version afterwards, and something that goes with something fresh. I can see seafood or something like this, right? Even with this good fresh ham. For example, we have beautiful French San Daniele ham. It's very good, and then of course I can suggest, because it's very international. I love the Pinot Grigio with the Indonesian cuisine, because you have to need all the balances in all the flavors. But it's one thing that I can tell you about the temperature. So the temperature that I'm drinking this wine is around now, I think 10 to 11. But I got my secret. They're gonna share with you a secret. With the white wines that comes from this hillside part, I can suggest to you one thing to do. The first is look at the alcohol. So it's 13, right? So you bring this wine, 13 minus 3, 10 degrees is the perfect temperature for tasting, right? Then, of course, you can have even in 5 or 6 or 7, wherever you like. But if you want this wine to talk, is enormous voice, choose 10. With the red wines, same thing, alcohol plus 3. And then you have the perfect temperature that you may have. And of course, this Pinot Grigio is beautiful because of this freshness, because of this part of that comes from theolic part. So you got the peach, you got something even related with some herbs. I can say rosmarine, I can say some salvia that comes out. It's very, very enlarging in that part. So it's fun, it's beautiful. And of course, this wine, whenever you taste, I can assure you that you're gonna finish the bottle because of drinkability. It's very, very on a fast way that can grow because it's very simple but then banal. And the average of the price that is just sold, and the winery told me that is sold to the private people that goes there is around 13 euros, 9 to 13. These are the prices, right? So I'm gonna go over with the other wines so we can have all these wines and the people. And we were talking about Pinot Grigio. We got one more. And the other one that we have, we got the winery in here with my friend Marco that is gonna show you and tell about Marina Danieli Winery. Welcome, Marco.
Hello.
And tell us what it is about to know about Marina Danieli
Of course.
and the Pinot Grigio that you are just giving us. And in that moment, I'm just having a sip, so
Okay.
I know that you're telling the truth, but we know that, right?
Hello, everybody. It's Marco from Marina Danieli Estate, an historical estate located in
This is Ramato, of course.
Yeah. I would like to introduce you our Pinot Grigio 2023 Ramato with its gold bean color, very particular, and it's a tropical taste and fruity one.
Yes, very fruity.
Very
Yes,
fruity.
you,
like
you, you can feel the peach way more than
and the
before.
peach, yeah. Our state, it's an historical one. It's fifth generation of winemakers, all led by women. I would like to introduce you the wine part and even the other things we do, we offer. We have also a restaurant called Scacciapensieri and an historical villa called Villa Dragoni. I would like to suggest you to think about drink our Pinot Grigio 2023 in Villa Dragoni. So with its beautiful gardens.
Well, it's amazing because
Yeah.
you can see all the hillside area. You can see even it's called the Scacciapensieri, the
Yeah.
place, which means something that erases your thoughts for a moment in your life. We all have issues, right? We have issues that goes beyond our lives, but you always need a place where to go over these issues and to feel free.
To feel
Right.
free, to feel relaxed, exactly.
Yes, this is all about Colli Orientali. It is all about you can find even in Scacciapensieri.
Exactly, exactly. The beautiful land of Butrio and Friuli Colli Orientali is perfect. The production of wines are really, really perfect also. So
That's a great one. Well, the question, what would you pair it with? Because you have you talked about the restaurant.
yeah,
What would you pair it with?
yeah, I would like to suggest you to pair it with some cheese, maybe medium cheese and some
Yes.
fish, and of course, like you said before, with some sushi in a mother key.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good with sushi. With sushi,
It's perfect.
yes, Pinot Grigio and sushi can match it very well. Yes, sure.
Yeah. And of course, maybe typical kitchen, Friuli Venezia Giulia kitchen. Yeah. Of course, the cheese part. Yeah, it's perfect.
But I think that Pinot Grigio is very wide with the range that you can have with the
Yeah.
imagination
Yeah.
about the matching and the stuff. So thank you very much, Marco.
Thank you.
And I give you the bottle so you may
I can
have,
drink it.
you can have a sip with your friends here and back. So because you have to say that all the people just can see me with all the bottles wide open in here, and they're not drinking any. So let me just give me some to the guys, so they're gonna be less shy than they may have,
Yeah,
right?
it's a pity. Yeah.
So thank you very much.
Thank you, Matteo. Thank you, Piotr. Thank you, all of you. Thank you.
And for any kind of information, that of course we're gonna have all these contacts in the stuff. But again, Pinot Grigio, we said, and we go further. We go to Roy Clar, and we have Raffaele in here with me. The bottle is beautiful because we have this Roy Clar. Roy Clar, it's a Friulan word, so it's not Italian. It's a Friulan word, and of course it's a Ramato as well. We go further and further with this Ramato part, which is a plain river, very how can I say, wide and beautiful river. So Roy is a river, and Clar is something that is transparent in some ways. So Raffaele, about your winery.
Yeah, I speak Italian because my English is terrible.
I'm going to translate.
Matteo, translate for me.
Don't you worry.
Ok, grazie.
Dimmi.
Allora, questo è un 2023, un Pinot Grigio ramato.
It's a 2023 Pinot Grigio Ramato.
Che ha fatto un anno di affinamento in anfora in ceramica.
1 year of the aging in amphora. So it's grown up in amphora.
Esatto, nonostante abbia fatto un anno di affinamento in anfora, comunque ha mantenuto una bella freschezza, una bella acidità, è sicuramente molto fruttato. E rispetto alle annate precedenti,
due to the amphora, it's got a lot of freshness and got a body that just maintained due to the hillside.
Rispetto alle annate precedenti è meno balsamico e più fruttato questa annata 23, ha dato più spunto verso la parte diciamo del frutto e dei fiori rispetto alle annate precedenti che erano un pochettino più balsamiche.
This 2023 has got more in a fruity part instead of the balsamic part. Let me just answer this question. Do you have some classification for hillside like cru, or you can only use the name of the winery on the label? We can only use the name of the wine on the label, but right now we are working on the crus. So in Colli Orientali, we have the classification of the sottozone and the DOCG. Nowadays, you can have even the cru of the winery, but it's just like the name that the winery just gives to him. So nowadays, the cru part is what the winery explains to you about the thing that she just tells you where the wine grape comes from.
Abbiamo fatto una macerazione di circa 15 giorni su quest'annata.
So it's
Ed è una
15 days maceration.
ed è una macerazione che viene fatta di fatto a temperatura ambiente,
Mhm.
con un'escursione termica tra giorno e notte, in assenza di ossigeno, per poi passare con una pressatura soffice e un fine fermentazione in acciaio. Una volta finita la fermentazione passiamo direttamente in anfora e lì ci rimane per un anno intero.
So after maceration, you just go in amphora, you go what I think it does. What I was telling you about, the beetles that I was, when you taste these three Pinot Grigio with the three different shapes, of course, it changes the thing because you can see even from the color and the taste that something goes beyond the idea of a simple Pinot Grigio, so to speak. And about the matching, you can go further in here with some, not just starter with whatever. I mean, even with the main course. And I think that it's very fine to work with this with the temperatures.
Yeah.
Because you can have it very cold coming out from the fridge. And instead of putting them into the ice, just like it was an organ to transport somewhere,
Vero.
you can have the change of the temperature. So if you have a couple on your restaurant, this comes out of the fridge and you got one wine. The second that it just goes with the temperature, you got a second wine, and then it goes beyond. You can have three different wines in the change of the temperature. And it's very, I agree that it's very unique that the fruitness and the minerality is well balanced. So you can easily find this balance with the minerality because right now you are starting to face the saltiness, the plain saltiness that comes out on these wines. And it's very, very related to the coral reef that I was telling you before, where these vineyards come from. Very good. Thank you, Raffaele.
Thank you.
Grazie, Raffaele. A beautiful wine, of course.
It's a lovely wine. Just let me add, because I think you didn't mention the price and the number of bottles.
No, I didn't, but I do it
Okay.
right now. So
Ah.
the winery does around 17,000 bottles total. And about this one is 3,000. And the price is Horeca 9, and to the private people that goes into it's 12 euros, right?
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah, very well. Thank you very much. All the comments and questions answered very well.
Yes. Let's go
It's
further.
going very well.
And we go
Yeah.
with the Friulano.
Yeah.
And now we call a young guy with old vineyards. It's Leorino Zozzenone, my friend that is here. Ciao, Leorino.
Hello. Hello, everyone.
This guy, this man, got this thing, this Leorino Zozzenone Friulano. This is 2023,
Yes.
and he's got an idea of the wine.
Yes.
So tell us your vineyard, your winery, and your idea about the wine.
Yes. My winery is in Cividale. Have 5 hectares, and I think Friulano is a best wine in the region. So I have this project with a simple idea. Two base of wines. One come from dry grapes and macerate some days, and after we blend with another part that we have only cold maturation, and after the fermentation we blend with this. We do 700 of bottle of this Friulano. In totally we do 5,000 of bottles.
So we're talking about a small winery in a very unique way, even in the process. Sorry about that, but I just gonna tell you that the thing that the wine that you're tasting is something that goes beyond the idea of the Friulano as, the clear and simple, so to speak, wine, just in white wine vinification, because of the adding, just like he said, of the part that goes in the, so to speak, passito part, which is not the passito that goes on the sweet side, but it's just beyond to enhance all the flavors that you may have.
Devo spiegare.
Sì.
Ah, okay. So we do this process to concentrate the acidity and not a more sugar, but the flowers, the tannins to have much more structure in the wine. And so we do this for have a good wine with heavy but drinkable with this acidity. And we can do this because when Matteo, before presenting the Friuli Colli Orientale, we are in the cold area of Friuli Colli Orientale, so we can do this. We can do a passimento because we have not high temperature in our winery.
You know that when you talk about the Friulano, one of the problems you may face is about the acidity, right? And the contemplation about the ripeness on the fruit and the acidity, which is usually very low. But if you have old vineyards and you have a cold plate just like he has, you can manage to have a different way to develop the ripeness. So if you think about the idea of the accents that I told you before, this man here just listen to the accents of this small place that he has in order to go further in a place that nobody could do in the other place. So this is a kind of a single voice that comes out on a place. So how many bottles you make? About
700.
Seven- 700 of this bottle. About the price, just look.
14
Okay.
for private price.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's the thing and the average that we have. Thank you,
Thank you.
Lorino. Thank you very much. Thank you. So we have, that's very particular, this kind of Friulan that you had in order to understand all the things that happen. And now we go to another Friulano on a different part, but very close, but to see how the accent changes. And we go to Valchiero. This Friulano is called Nexus. It comes from a single vineyard. That's my man here, Lauro De Vincenti. And we have this wine, which is a beautiful one. It's 2022, 2022, giusto?
Sì.
2022, coming from a single vineyard. Even here we have a vineyard that goes beyond 85 to 80 to 85 years. So it's a very old vineyard. And you may have this wine. This one is 100% stainless steel, so acciaio. And what about you? What about, raccontaci.
Allora, l'azienda coltiva circa 14 ettari
So winery just is 14 hectares big
e produce circa 40.000 bottiglie di vino.
for around 40,000 bottles in total.
I vini vengono prodotti in due zone distinte, una alla vallata di Torreano, dove c'è il terreno alluviale dove viene prodotto questo vino qua.
Wines are produced in two different places. The first one is the alluvial part where this one is bottled, because you get a lot of limestone, a lot of different things that comes from the river. It comes from the acid part. So you may find out, even with the high amount of ripeness, a lot of acidity.
E poi la zona di Togliano dove vengono prodotti i vini rossi. Questo vino è ottenuto appunto nella vallata di Torreano, che è attraversato dai vini, dai venti freschi Labora.
So it's a very windy part where it comes from. So we go matching with what I said before.
I terreni sono, come dicevo, alluvionali e che gli danno diciamo la freschezza e la mineralità.
So you can have all the matches that goes on freshness and the minerality and the saltiness in this case. So usually, and I can tell these things, I used to have this wine to let people taste when nobody ever have a Friulano in their own lives. So you can have this wine in order to taste this and to have a kind of a balance. Then you have the one that we have with Leorino Zorzenone before, or the others. But this is a kind of, point of reflection that you may have. So you said, quante bottiglie fate di questo vino?
4.000.
So it's 4,000 bottles of this wine. Average prezzo medio?
Il prezzo, diciamo, al privato è 15 euro.
Private place is 15 euros. Okay, grazie Lau.
Okay.
I answer the question. Do you also PV white grapes in your region, which are allowed for appellation? We do have PV grapes, but they are not allowed in appellation yet. Right now, the appellation goes beyond of this. And of course, we are Italy, and the bureaucracy need to work through. But I can answer myself. I'm following a lot the movement of the PV grapes that is moving right now, and most of the wineries that I know are trying to reach something very good with the PV grapes, and we are going through even this. And I got something more to answer this, because the next winery that we're gonna taste, which is with the Sauvignon, and is the Rodaro winery, and I call Nadia in here. We are going to talk about the Sauvignon, but I know, because I heard it to the grapevines, that they do something even with the PV. But we're not here to talk about this. And Nadia, welcome. Tell us
Thank you,
about.
Matteo. Dobra večer is the only word that you will hear in Polish today, and I'm gonna speak a little English with you. Hello, everyone. I'm Nadia. I'm the export manager for the winery, and thanks to Matteo for the complete explanation about the territory. So I will not talk today about the territory because Matteo made a good job. So I think already you understood where we are exactly, and we are gonna talk a little more about not another winery, Friulan winery, but about a winemaker, a sixth generation winemaker, Paolo Rodaro. Actually, Paolo Rodaro is a visionary man.
Yes.
Let's say visionary is the well-designed word maybe to better explain.
For the ones who have seen, the Lord of the Rings, you may say it's a kind of a Gandalf.
Yes, okay. That could be. We will not tell him.
No, but it's a compliment to me.
Yeah, sure, but he will not understand. But actually, what I would like you to know about Paolo is a sixth generation winemaker. It means a great experience behind him, but someone that took different path instead of the other winemakers. What it means? It means that he looked at the map of Friuli and it says, while everybody is going to make great white wines, of course, because this is the land of great white wines, well known.
It is.
He said, okay, I'd rather go red, I'd rather go sparkling wines, Padosé, from international grape varietal. So totally, he has been, let's say, bending the rules, pushing the boundaries, just to create a new perspective, just to, let's say, defy expectations, okay, that were very direct, very just given for granted, let's say. So two big projects doing red, overripe red wines, and doing sparkling Padosé from international grape varietal that are usually will spend maybe more year on the time on the lease, maybe more than most marriages last, let's say. But
that could be.
That could be.
But point.
Anyway, besides those two projects, Paolo never forget, of course, of the great treasure of great white wines. But he actually think about one duty, one obligation for these white wines. They have to wait. We have to wait. There is one duty. It's like mastering the art of passions.
Time is the issue.
Yes.
We got a question, because that's someone is loving this wine, and it's very, very food friendly, and I agree with this. Best match in your opinion? And
Ooh,
I
that's
mean,
much.
I mean, because my friend Nadia here is even Sicilian, so she
am.
got a wide open mind about many other foods that we could imagine. It's not easy to mention it. I mean,
That
it's
easy, but it
easy.
depends. It
It's easy,
depends.
but it depends, right?
Yeah. Actually, is let's say an evoluted Sauvignon, because it's 2021, a bottle in 2024. It was a choice from Paolo and released it in 2025. So just release it because Paolo thinks that this Sauvignon has to wait a little bit. We must reach the peak of complexity. We have to give to this wine the chance to express itself in a better way. So to express the true first aromas, okay, of this wine. So I have maybe a Mediterranean filter for sure. So I will say maybe to be pairing with, I don't know, grilled roasted seafood. That could be also a chance.
You
Or
fried seafood, don't you?
Eh?
Because it's very good in acidity. So some fried seafood.
fried seafood, why not? Because it's actually is, I mean, the main characteristics evolution can provide great acidity and nice freshness. The answer is yes. You should try this wine and tell me if you can find it. So actually,
Well,
you can clean up even your mouth with this intense acidity.
just
Okay?
think, if English people could have a taste, they could have this wine with fish and chips.
Sure.
Because with something fried, I mean.
What I'm used to do is to try to explore more local
Yeah, sure.
way of food. Okay, way of maybe go to restaurant and order. I love to look at the menus and see which is the typical dishes, and then I will try to find the best pairing for each place. I think it's the better way to go.
That's fair. That's
Yes, that's the better way to go. So if you want to have maybe something different, something a little that is a little controversial, but easy to understand anyway.
That's fair.
I think that's if you want to have like a secret ingredient in your portfolio, you want to get in, just think about Rodaro.
That's
it.
good. The last three questions. How many bottles the winery makes? How many bottles about the Sauvignon? And the price, just like we asked before.
Actually, being like a sixth generation, it means that Paolo has a big story
Look
behind
at that. Lobster clams should be,
why not?
Enormous.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, with some butter and so a little more complex lobster.
I can tell it's perfect.
Why not?
Yes.
Good taste anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know but
the thing is that we don't have so many lobsters walking around in here in our rivers.
No, that's a pity. That's a pity, but
I mean, you are completely right. Yes.
Right. We agree with you completely. So I was telling Paolo has this big story behind him. So it means that they have been collecting 68 hectares. So on property. So we produce wine from our 68 hectares. It means 250,000 bottles per year. That means 6,000 for the Sauvignon Blanc that is bottled in 2 times. So this is the second time bottled. So we have remaining 3,000, okay, from 6,000 now available 3,000 for you.
Okay, price?
On shelf, price on shelves is €15, 15, 16. That's the average.
Okay. Thank you, Nadia.
Thank you.
Cheers.
And dziękuję. Bardzo.
Thank you, Nadia. And please.
Yeah, dziękuję, Nadia. It was great. A really nice wine. Sorry for interrupting. Just one thing, because I don't think we mentioned it. This was number 6, and all the wineries here are searching distributors, so no one is represented in Poland. And that's if you like the wines, guys, feel free to contact them. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so let's go further. And here got my friend Alberto is coming here from the winery Gigante.
So good afternoon, everyone.
And right now we just moving from the international, from autochthonous varieties. Then we have the Sauvignon. And when I've been speaking with Alberto and Adriano Gigante from the winery Gigante, and we were thinking about the wine to come through, I said, the only Chardonnay that we're going to add to this taste is going to be yours. And that's it. It's called the Filo di Rocca, and this is a Chardonnay. But my friend Alberto is going to tell you about.
So we are a family company. We have 30 hectares, and we were born back in 1957. So we have our company divided by 50% in the Colli Orientali, so the hill part of the Friuli, and the other 50% is also DOC. We producing more or less 100,000 bottles per year, and in the 70% of white grape variety and 30% of red grape variety. The Filo di Rocca is a very limited production of 1,500 bottles per year. It came from 1 hectare of vineyard. The average year of this vineyard is more or less 40-year-old. And this wine is produced only in the top quality vintages. So this is a 2021 vintage. The grapes were hand-picked and destemmed. After that, the grapes were cooling down to 8 degrees centigrade and macerate for 1 night. So without fermentation, just a cold skin contact. After that, we have done the fermentation in stainless steel tanks up to 13 degrees centigrade. Then we have keep it in stainless steel up to the end of December. In January, we have put the wine in big wood barrels, 1,000-liter big wood barrels, and we have aged for 1 year. After that, we have take it back to stainless steel tanks and aged that for until the end of 2023. We have bottled this wine at the end of 2023, and we have released at the end of 2024.
So aging is an issue for this wine in order to take the time to develop the things.
Yeah, exactly.
As an enologist, you may say, but it's just a question that I do, that to have this kind of, hillside part of the area where the Gigante winery is, located, can give you the time to let the wine develop in some ways.
Yeah, we are lucky because we have the Ponca soil.
Yes.
That Matteo has explained before, and for us it's important to aging the wine before the selling. So this is a wine that could reach a minimum of 20 years of aging. So we have example in the vineyards, and of course with not only with the Chardonnay but also with the Friulano. We have the historical vineyard that has now 80 years. So we are now still drinking 30-year-old wines.
Oh yes, easily. Even I had some wines that goes beyond 30 years. But one of the things that I like about the Gigante winery and about Adriano Gigante, which is a friend, etc., and is that that thing. He's got a great love for his wife. And with his wife, he used to have a passion together that they go dancing in many dances, right? And every time that I talk with Adriano, he used to tell me that his wines should be just like a dance, because you need to have in balance your body with the body with whom you're dancing. And this kind of balance that you feel in this wine goes beyond the wine itself. So you may think, all of us, you may have an idea of Chardonnay. We all have, just like the Sauvignon before, and just like even the Pinot Grigio, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is that the people that used to do the wine coming from this place used to have a kind of idea of a balance that just goes and comes from the land itself. So that's the point. But a great theory, very elegant wine.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And last but not least question, so you told us about the number of
The winery. Yeah, of course, I didn't mention that we are organic since the early 2000s,
Oh, yes.
and we have certified in 2018 because it's our way to work and to think. We have never thought that we had to certify it until 2018.
How many bottles about this filo di rocca Chardonnay?
1,500.
1,500. We said prices.
For the Oreca, this is 15.
And that's good. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Have
Thank
a
you.
nice tasting. Bye.
Thank you. Prendilo che lo fai assaggiare agli altri. Dai. Okay. Let's go over and let's go on with the last two white wines. And now we're going to, we just been tasting two of these wines, which is a single variety. Now we're going within blends. We did blends with the different wines, and the first is from this beautiful girl that comes to me, which is Augusta Bargilli. Augusta Bargilli with this Cour Blanc. Cour Blanc is a Friulan word which means the white heart. In this Cour, it means heart in this case. So, what is about Cour Blanc? What we have inside?
Tanto, buonasera. Bonsoir a tout le monde. Buonasera a tutti.
So, good evening, she
Permessa
said.
di portare
Oh, she's
la
got
conca friulana. Questo è quello che si beve.
she's got the ponca. That's our soil, right?
Right. E grazie al pubblico polacco per l'interesse, la partecipazione, la curiosità ai vini della DOC Friuli Colli Orientali.
She's thanking all of you for the curiosity, for the time that you're taking for listening to us and all the wineries and the Colli Orientali, of course.
Per i nostri vini autentici, per il nostro territorio, e il nostro lavoro non sarebbe sufficiente se non ci fossero persone come Matteo. Sì,
right now.
È giusto anche raccontarle.
Thank you. But she said that all our job was it's just a job that makes with a together job because with all the wineries and stuff, right? Yes.
Che non sei soltanto un tecnico grande conoscitore del territorio, ma sei anche un narratore.
Yes, but now we talk about your winery.
Ma perché il lavoro è partecipazione,
Yes.
il lavoro il vino
Now
è
we talk about
partecipazione
your winery.
e il vino soprattutto è un racconto fluido.
One is participation is something fluid. But tell us about your winery.
Ok, io sono una piccola produttrice dei Colli Orientali del Friuli.
She's a small producer about the Colli Orientali del Friuli, and she comes from Tuscany. So she's got an eye that comes beyond, you know, the thing.
Ho una piccola cantina una collina in Cladrecis, al confine con la Slovenia, sono 3 ettari.
So she's got a small winery of 3 hectares, very small.
Conduco, diciamo, la cantina, l'azienda con anche il mio compagno, Pierpaolo Sirk, che è conosciuto per l'apporto dato anche alla viticoltura.
He's working with his comrade, Pierpaolo Sirk, very famous with the Simonite and Sirk stuff that they used to do with the pruning school that is very famous all over the world.
Che mi ha insegnato che il vino non è soltanto frutto di un microclima e di un terreno adatto alla vite, ma è anche il frutto di una viticoltura consapevole.
And he just told her how he's responsible and to be aware of what he's doing.
Per cui lotta integrata, scelta potatura invernale, scelta dei germogli, diradamento dei grappoli durante la vendemmia in cassetta, per cui queste sono le pratiche consuete per arrivare poi alla cantina e a fare un lavoro di sottrazione, cioè accompagnare il vino nella sua metamorfosi senza cercare di intervenire.
So a lot of job to obtain the wine instead of making the wine. So to obtain the wine due to the wine grapes, in looking for every single passage that you may have in order to have it into the cellar, in order to have something that is really in balance when you make the wine. Talk about this Cour Blanc.
Cour Blanc, come hai detto precedentemente tu, significa cuore e nasce proprio dal cuore, cioè da un atto d'amore verso questo territorio, e quindi racconta anche il viaggio, la trasformazione come hai detto tu, mi hai anticipato, mi hai presentato dalla Toscana fino in Friuli.
So this wine represents the transition from Tuscany to Friuli with the heart in some ways. So it's the way to represent the transition to someone who falls in love with the territory that comes abroad, so to speak.
L'amore per le vigne vecchie che sanno raccontare, che sono
Old
come
vineyards.
culture nelle vigne, e quindi hanno un racconto antico, il loro racconto, come è anche antica questa vigna, per cui quindi il blend, Friulano, Ribolla, Malvasia e un piccolo tocco di Picolit, nasce in vigna,
So
nasce in cantina.
this blend comes from Friulano, Ribolla,
Malvasia, Picolit.
Malvasia, and Picolit, coming from the vineyard.
Yeah, sì, esatto.
So it's an actual uvaggio.
Sì, ma come erano strutturate le vigne vecchie.
So the blend is made of these four different kind of varieties, just made coming from.
Perché? Perché il friulano dona corpo e struttura
So you got a
via,
body in the structure of Friulano,
e anche quella caratteristica nota di mandorla.
okay?
Le-
And you all know they come from Friulano.
La ribolla gialla, finezza, verticalità e freschezza.
The Ribolla's got the freshness, the verticality,
La malvasia, rotondità e anche quella nota di anche mediterranea.
the boundy part of the Malvasia
Yeah,
and the
harmonica.
Mediterranean part, and then you got a Picolit, which is just like the,
Il Picolit, che è un vitigno fragile, raro e prezioso, e dona quella nota, diciamo, poetica.
the last note of poem is Picolit. So this is a kind of small poem made by someone who just fell in love with this territory in this place, made by someone who enlarges love. So you told us how many bottles you made?
Di queste sono tutte bottiglie numerate, per cui il numero si può vedere.
It's all right.
All
All of these bottles are numbered. So these are 4,026 bottles. I got the 1350. So all of these bottles are numbered, and the total amount is about
Sono 8-10.000 bottiglie.
8 to 10,
Sì,
10,000.
questo poi con altri vitigni che forse avrai già citato, il
Of course, yes.
ok, lo Chardonnay, per cui un'attenzione particolare. Ora uscirà lo schioppettino, un progetto sullo schioppettino, quindi vitigni in purezza, prediligendo le vigne antiche. E le pratiche poi in cantina sono comunque affinamento, lavoro con le anfore e con le barrique, per cui c'è una fermentazione in anfora, poi un passaggio in barrique e quindi un affinamento di un anno in barrique.
So you got amphoras, so you got amphoras and barrique. So you got these two kind of passage that you may have doing this. So it's a beautiful mix in order to have this. We can feel your love for your vineyard. This is in this wine. What a great blend. Ti fanno i complimenti. So.
Grazie. Grazie.
So thank you very much.
Grazie.
So
È un prezzo
the price?
33 euro dalla cantina.
33 from the seller
Privati.
on a private people in the
Ho un distributore in Italia, per cui io vendo direttamente al distributore che distribuisce poi tutto il distributore.
Just to have the image of the price. Thank you, Augusta.
Grazie.
Grazie, Augusta. Thank you. And as you can see, we have a great match of a different shape of vineyards and wineries that have the small one, the bigger one, the kind of distribution and the stuff. Now we go to the one of the biggest wineries on the organic and biodynamic phase.
Hello, everyone.
And I'm gonna show you the Aquila del Torre Bianco.
Hello, I'm Marta. I
Here we
represent Aquila del Torre. Aquila del Torre is, we can call it a little oasis nestled in the Colli Orientali. We are in the northern part of the Colli Orientali, where the climate is a little cooler than in the other parts of it. And we present you today a blend of two varietals, local, the Friulano and the Sauvignon Blanc. And the winery is all organic farming since 2010, and is an oasis because it's 68 hectares of woods nestled in the hills and between these fruits, we have 18 hectares of vineyards. Most of them are all vines because they are more than 30 years old. And we have also a very nice temperature drop between the day and the night in the summer months.
So the aromas can reach the peak.
Exactly, and even the acidity is very good. So we can have wines that age, and especially Michele Ciani, the owner of the winery, is very deep in making wines that express the territory and can age. So
We can say that's very deep in making wine grapes.
yes,
Because the idea that I always had knowing Michele and Aquila del Torre is the precision in the willing to have the perfect balance in the wine grapes.
Yeah.
We are in one of the most beautiful, I need to tell the people,
course, yeah.
Instagram place that we have in Colli Orientali. Because from that place, you can see the entire body of the Colli Orientali. You can see, I used to walk there, all this hillside area, and you can find easily the balance of this vineyard. So the idea is to watch before the wine grapes and then the wine comes.
Exactly, and it's all the wines are terroir driven. So what the terroir is expressing, Michele is trying to get the best out of it, and especially in this wine that is a blend between two different vines, the Sauvignon Blanc and the Friulano. Michele tries to express exactly this balance, especially because the Sauvignon Blanc and the Friulano are very old cousins, because maybe nobody knows, but the Friulano has been tested as a DNA, and we found out that is a cousin of the Sauvignon. It was called Sauvignonas in the past, and has been taken to Friuli in the 1850 almost more than 150 years ago. So these two wines are combined in this blend to have a dance, to try to find the balance between the two varietals that are very a good expression of the territory again. So there is the structure of the Friulano and the aromaticity of the Sauvignon that are dancing and are trying to find.
And it's a good thing because you said that the Friulano and Sauvignon are cousins, right?
Yes. Yes.
You don't even get along with your cousins, right?
Not sometimes, but
not sometimes
it can
with your
happen.
friend. It can happen. It can happen, and it will happen. But these cousins can make something that it creates on the different balances, because Tokai Friulano is very low in acidity, but it's very good in body. Sauvignon is good with with the sugars, but very high in acidity. The blend of with these two can make something that goes beyond the aromas and create a unique expression of balance.
And you can have this description even visually on the label.
Exactly.
So we have two people dancing.
So
this
that's the balance.
Exactly. And the two wines are vinified separately, and the Sauvignon goes in stainless steel vats, and the Friulano instead goes to egg-shaped concrete vats to have a natural fermentation with natural yeast or local yeast. So everything is biodynamic and organic. So we made also the yeasts are locally fermented from the vineyards. So it's
they got the pied de couve,
Yeah,
right?
pied de couve
So
is
with their own
local.
yeast.
And the fermentation of the Friulano is naturally driven by the shape of the vats, because the egg shape supports a natural batonnage because of the wine moving inside of the vat naturally because of the fermentation. They age 12 months in the vats or stainless steel vats, and then are bottled. This is a 2022 vintage because Michele wants to have wines that can last. So, but the best expression is not immediate perceived, but give it a time, and it will be better and better.
Right, same thing. Number of bottles made, and number of bottles about Torre Bianco, and price.
Oh, the property can make around 60,000 bottles, and we make 12,000 bottles of this wine.
So it's 12,000 of these.
Retail is around 18 euros.
Ok, ti fanno un sacco di
Thank you very much.
great
Thank you very
compliments
much.
of this blend.
And if you want to pair with some food,
Oh, that's
it
a good
goes
question.
very
Yes.
well with even cheeses and prosciutto di San Daniele,
Yes.
but also with fish, or because it has an acidity that can support even savory and more greasy plates.
I may think that this kind of blend goes along very good with a kind of vegetarian cuisine.
Of
Does
course,
it?
I was thinking about risotto,
Yes.
with asparagus.
That's
something
my
like
idea
that.
because I used to go. There's a very beautiful restaurant close to here,
Nice.
Altiglio. They
Of
used
course.
to have the vegetarian cuisine, and I like to get along this kind of wine with the vegetarian cuisine with some kind of risotto, with some kind of mixes of different kind of
Yeah.
blends of vegetables. It's beautiful.
But it's very fresh and mineral at the same time. So
is indeed.
It's a very nice blend. It's very well built.
Thank you.
Thank
Grazie.
you so much.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to be here. And thank
Porta
you.
al tavolo.
Yep.
Thank you. So here we ended up with the whites, so to speak, because right now we got two reds and then we got the last but not least, which is going to be the first, but I'm going to talk about before. Now we're going to taste the Schioppettino di Prepotto. Schioppettino di Prepotto, we have not the winery present in here, so I'm going to present it by myself. The winery is Pizzulin, Dennis. Schioppettino has got a long history. It goes beyond the 1200. Schioppettino, with the name, means to pop up when you have the ripeness, the very mature ripeness in your mouth. As soon as you try to bite the fruit, you can feel it as it pops up. And then you have this kind of Schioppettino, just like we have studied, with inside a molecule. The molecule is called rotundone, which is a sesquiterpenes that's got something like 27 times more than Shiraz and 24 times more than Cabernet Franc, the amount of pepper flavor. And when you got the Schioppettino, you have to think about white wine dressed in red. So the Schioppettino's got this pepper flavor that goes, and all the game that is played with the red wines that comes from this region is not about the tannins, but is about the acidity and the drinkability. You can easily have a red wine before a wine with no problem at all. And then you can have this flavor that comes through. I love Schioppettino with the international cuisine because it's one of the wines that easily goes over of any kind of matching that you can imagine. It's the easiest one that you can match and the most funny one to match. The winery used to make 45,000 bottles a year in total, and from this Schioppettino is around 4,000 to 5,000. The price is 35 for the private, 12 for the imported, just like the winery told me. You can tell how this Schioppettino is kicking, just like it have this kind of balance and this pepper flavor. And it's beautiful to feel how this pepper flavor and the small red dots or small red fruits that you can have in having this Schioppettino, which is very, very imbalanced. But let's go over, because you may say that when you taste a Merlot, you think about, the France or whatever. But when you get in Friuli, you don't ever say Merlot, you say Merlot, because we think is our autochthonous variety. And we have the wine when it's Cadibon that comes here and can tell how
Dobry wieczór wszystkim.
how
Dobry wieczór,
this
panie
Merlot is made.
Piotrze, jestem Bożena.
Right now, we got someone who speaks your own language, so I will not understand a thing about
Dobry
it.
wieczór.
Dobry wieczór, pani Bożeno.
Myślmy, żeby wszystko dobrze poszło.
No to słuchamy panią w takim razie.
A więc tak, ja jestem partnerka pana Luca Bon, co oni jesteśmy rodziną winnicą Bon, położoną na malowniczych wzgórzach w Colli Orientali. Posiadamy 13 hektarów winnic, które pielęgnujemy z pasją i szacunkiem do tradycji. Produkujemy około 50 000 butelek rocznie. Jedną z naszych dzisiaj butelek, co chcemy zareprezentować, to właśnie przynieśliśmy Merlot. To jest wino czerwone, które rośnie też w Colliach Orientali. To wino produkujemy rocznie mniej więcej 4000 butelek. Merlot to jest 100% Merlot. Rok jego to jest 22 rok, 22. Zbiór Merlota to jest robiony ręcznie pod koniec września. Wanifikacja tego wina to się robi mniej więcej 10 dni fermentacji w zbiornikach cementownych. Dojrzewanie Merlota jest mniej więcej 12-14 miesięcy w beczkach barrique, które mają 225 litrów. Leżakowanie tego wina to się trzymie mniej więcej 6 miesięcy w magazynie z kontrolowaną temperaturą. Co możemy powiedzieć na to wino? Także w tym profilu sensorowym, którym w nosie wyczulone są nuty dojrzałych, dobronych owoców. Czujemy tam maliny, jagody, porzeczek. W ustach to wino, tanina jest bardzo łagodne, eleganckie, z powracającym smakiem dojrzałych owoców leśnych. Temperaturę tego wina najwięcej to można go trzymać mniej więcej 15 stopni. To wino jest bardzo dobrze, komponuje się z mięsem z grilla lub jako wino do kontemplacji. Jeżeli ma pan Piotr jakieś pytanie o coś, to jestem tutaj.
I think that I agree with all that she said.
Yeah, you should. Yeah. A pani to wino pija z czym najchętniej?
No ja najbardziej to z mięsem z grilla.
Aha.
Jest bardzo dobre to wino, ma naprawdę bardzo dobry smak.
No tutaj zacząłem się...
Ja z mięsem to najbardziej to uwielbiam. Znaczy się mogę poradzić to wino do mięsa.
Aha. A proszę mi powiedzieć, cena detaliczna tego wina?
To jest 11 euro.
11 euro.
Plus VAT.
Plus VAT. I produkcja to jest 4000 butelek.
Tak.
Mniej więcej. Aha.
Mniej więcej, tak.
No, to naprawdę ładna wino i w rozsądnej cenie. I nie próbowała pani jeszcze tego sprzedawać w Polsce?
No, znaczy się ja jakoś chciałam spróbować to dać do Polski, ale nie jest czasami łatwo zrobić konkurencję albo wejść, żeby można to wino reprezentować. Ja bardzo mnie to cieszyło, naprawdę, jakbym mogła w Polsce, bo ja też jestem Polka, chociaż z 89 roku żyję we Włoszech, ale bym bardzo chętnie chciała, żeby to wino właśnie było w Polsce jakoś skosztować, żebyście nas mogli też poznać. Jesteśmy małą firmą, ale bardzo dobre produkty mamy. Trzeba by było skosztować.
Tak. Komentarze. Pięknie zbalansowane, gratulacje.
Dziękuję bardzo. Przepraszam bardzo, jak jestem troszeczkę zaemocjonowana, ale...
Nie, bardzo dobrze pani idzie. Dużo lepiej niż mnie. Z jakich gleb pochodzi ten Merlot?
On jest... przepraszam na chwilkę. Di che viene Merlot?
Che grappolo? Ma cosa vuol dire di che grappolo?
Przepraszam, jak pan się chciał zapytać mniej więcej? Ja tego nie zrozumiałam.
Jakie to są gleby? The soils.
The soils. The soils that used to come. We are in the middle of the last part of Colli Orientali, which is enlapsed with the last part of the coral reef, which is something that is enormously perfect of Merlot. And then one more thing, because we are in Colli Orientali, so we are on the 46th parallel, right? And the 46th parallel goes beyond to Bordeaux. And in the part of, the last part of Gramogliano, where the Merlot is done about the Cadibon winery, we have an encounter of temperatures that creates the best ripeness of Merlot. So we are in a rainless place, yes. We are in a white wine place, yes. But in that very place, I would put red wines because of the ripeness they can reach because of that place. And you can tell by tasting this wine.
Okej. Dziękujemy bardzo pani
Ja
Bożeno
bardzo
w takim
dziękuję.
razie.
Dziękuję panu
Świetnie
Piotrze.
pani mówi po polsku, jeżeli od 89, ale to może od 2009 albo od 2019 jeszcze.
Ja bardzo dziękuję. Dziękuję bardzo, żeście nam dali okazję, że się możemy zareprezentować.
Bardzo dziękuję.
Dziękuję. Naprawdę dziękuję. Pozdrawiam wszystkich Polaków, wszystkich. Dobry wieczór.
Wszyscy Polacy pozdrawiają.
Dziękuję bardzo.
Do zobaczenia.
Do
Thank you very
widzenia.
much. Thank you.
Grazie.
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 Yeah.
So, thank you. You told me, Piotr, that we have surprises in this place, don't we? And we even provide you to have someone who speaks your own language. So.
Oh yes, that's impressive. And very well speaking our own language. Yeah.
And
okay.
What do you
The last
tell me?
wine.
So we're going to the last one, last but not least. And I can tell you that because the winery is not present right now, but because they have an issue and a big event in Osha nowadays. The winery is Ramandolo Dri il Roncat. So this wine that you are tasting right now. So this winery and this wine, I could have easily had you taste at first, because if you look at it, is the one who has the lowest in alcohol and the one who can have, of course, it's a sweet wine. You may say, right, it's a sweet wine, we have to match it with sweets. Yes, but think about this and follow my lead. I used to have this wine when I was a kid, because this one is called Ramandolo, and it comes out of Verduzzo. Verduzzo Friulano is the most Friulan wine grape that you can imagine, because it has the longest period of maturation. He's the one who waits a lot about whatever happens during the season, and you can have a lot of things that happen during the season, and at least it gives you a sweet sugar. So it's sweet, but it's the one who is higher in acidity when you can taste it. When I was a kid, I used to have this wine with, for example, any kind of aperitivo or something that happened with this kind of wine, with some ham, with some cheese, with something that is very beyond the fact that you have to put it with the dessert. This winery believes so much in Ramandolo that this is one of the choices that they do. Then they have our 3 different kinds of Ramandolo. This is the one, the Dri Giovanni Roccata used to do 50,000 bottles per year. And from this wine, you can reach from 13 to 16,000 bottles. So it's the main one that they used to do. The prices is 20 years on a private, right? So if you get into the winery, you ask for this wine, you pay 20. That's it. And then, of course, about the things, about the contacts you may have, you can understand the prices, because it's not my job. But the fact is that the sweeten that comes out from this Verduzzo goes along with the easiness that you have when you drink it. And the fact that you can have this wine on the end of this tasting makes your mouth very clean, because the cleanliness that it gets. It's very sweet, yes, but it's not as sweet at all. If you think about the acidity and the easy way that you can have this. In the world, when all the people used to have a spritz aperol or whatever, just like an aperitivo, which is 10 times more sugar with this, you can easily have this as an aperitivo if you can match it in a very perfect way. So this wine can be the one that if I would have put in this at first in the tasting could be better than any other. And in this 12 kind of wines that we had, we can have just a clinch. We just can have an image of Colli Orientali. You have to think about this place just like we are a kind of mosaic. I think you all people have seen maybe in a photograph a mosaic, right? The mosaic is made of different stones from different places, from different shapes that have to be together. There is nothing better than be together with the Friulan people that let these people be apart. So the only thing that let our people be together is the wine. And to be so you have today 12 pieces 12 pieces of a mosaic that can let you have a trip with some red thing and red wire that can mix us together, the saltiness in the whites, the body that we have, and of course we had coming from the sealed side and from the match that comes become from the wind and the different kind of the soils, and something that all the wineries have to match together. So we have the saltiness. You can call it minerality, I call it saltiness. That's fair. So we got body and acidity. All this wines has got an enormous drinkability. So from all of this, you're gonna finish the bottle whenever you are, whatever you are. Red wines has got a body that looks like having a lower body than the whites. So you can easily have a tasting or a dinner having the red wines before the whites with no problem. And then you finish with the sweet wine. There should be the one that tells you that you can end with sweetness, and with the sweets that tells you the other way around. You can easily start with the sweets. So we are a mess, a beautiful mess of beautiful things that can let you have your decision. What is the decision? Decision is that you can have your own book that you can write. We don't have the index. So right now, let me see the questions. So
yeah, and let me just add one thing for the records. In Italian, the expression "when I was a kid" means when I was at the beginning of my legal drinking age. Yes.
oh well.
I'm kidding.
Well,
No,
I hope there is no police listening because I discovered wine late. I was about 10 or 11, right?
good.
And but apart from the jokes, I mean, the first taste that we have in our mouth, it comes from sweets because it's related to the milk of our mother, and that's something that it's makes us together and brings us together in all over the world, right? So the first taste that you have in your mouth is sweet, and then you discover the rest, right? The point is the sweetness is not just something that is to be related, just like many sommeliers used to say, with sweets, but it's something that is to be related even for an aperitivo or whatever it is. And I just answering the question, what is the storage potential of this last one? Well, this is a good question because I had the opportunity and the fortune to have some of this wine. I've been 3 weeks ago in a tasting of this wine. Has some 1971 Verduzzo that they were still alive and kicking. And the reason is easy. You got all this body and all this acidity, and they can last long as you can. And this is an issue that is close to all the wines that we tasted, because we had some potential in aging that is enormous in what it develops. Because we got the data. We got the data about the sugars, we got the data about the acidity, we got the data about the pH and all the stuff. So we have all this.
Okay. Very well. Okay. Matteo,
So-
this was a great tasting, and you were not wrong at the very beginning. It was really, really nice, and I believe everyone appreciated it.
Yeah,
very
I try
much.
to respect the time of everyone, just in having a good time, and to respect the time that all the wineries that I have here that just being together. I think it's good to show the people that we are all together in here, in this very room, which is the one of the consortium. And since Poland is not that far, from coming from here, I really encourage you to come and see these guys and these girls, because I think we can have a taste, but whatever it is, a taste, as soon as you have a bite, you need the whole thing, right? So I can encourage you and tell you that now you may know us by mistake, so to speak, but from now on, all of you, you are our friends. So you got the responsibility as a friend, and we expect you to be here, and we love you to be here in tasting our wine, in knowing that beautiful people, and being together without a screen in front of us, and being together with some salami on a table, some cheese, and being together in enjoying the time.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's very kind words, and I hope perhaps one day you may come to Poland.
I
And
will.
This will be something. Anyway,
Just
hope
set the time, and I will be there. And
that's the point. Yeah, let's do something, and I hope to meet you, Matteo, again online once more, at least, because I don't think we explore the topic till the end, right? So that's just the very beginning.
We just seen, the peak of the mountain. We got many more things to see, and I hope that this thing just starts from now and goes on and on and on, and I'll be always available.
Perfect, guys. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Thank you.
Bye bye. See you soon. Ciao.
Ciao, ciao, ciao.
Ciao, ciao. Bye bye.
Bravo.